everyone. Power gets you the member of the population you most want to live with. You know, if you're looking for a mate, mates are attracted to power because it's inspiring, it's confidence, it's safety, it's so many things. So if we switched what makes you appear powerful in this society, it would happen overnight. And that's actually, if you look at the allegations in America about like DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, that's sort of what is going on right now, is a fight about what skill is more important, honoring diversity, listening to others, you know, and I'm not actually a strong proponent of the way DEI is talked about in my country or the way it was implemented in the last 4 years. So I can understand reasonably all the sides of this argument, but I will say that there is the culture war in my country is between sensitivity and no sensitivity. It's really that.
Hmm. What's your view on DUI? Do you think, because right now Trump is like cutting everything? He's like basically saying he's basically saying it's a meritocracy. Sorry, how do you
Meritocracy.
Yeah,
No, meritocracy. Yeah.
basically, if you deserve it, you're gonna have it. Like they're I think the correct term that he uses is we are now colorblind. It doesn't matter what's the color of your skin. Um, it's all on the base of if you deserve it or not. So, what are your views on that?
Yeah, I have a lot of views and they're pretty consistent, but I would just say that there okay, so in I used to teach as well as all the other things you listed, and one of the classes I taught was critical thinking,
Oh,
and in that comes this category of logical fallacies. And logical fallacies are things like saying, if we legalize caffeine, next thing you know, everyone will be doing heroin. It's a slippery slope. That's like a logical fallacy. That's not true. Plenty of people try caffeine and never try heroin. Plenty of people try caffeine and then try marijuana, but stop at marijuana. Other people, they go past marijuana to cocaine to heroin. So it's not true. The slippery slope argument is just, it's a fallacy, but people like the way it sounds, and we like a narrative. We like a story that explains causality more than anything. We'd rather hear a story that explains why it's snowing than know why it actually snows. If the story of why it snows isn't a good story, we'd rather lie and tell each other a story. So I think the story of DEI is what's being debated right now. I don't think anyone is colorblind. I think that most people I know who are black feel more comfortable when they're hanging out in a black audience with black members of it. And I think a lot of white people want to say they feel as comfortable in a black audience, but they're lying. And it's not about racism, and it's not about hatred, and it's not about anything more than just your comfort level. So children don't see race. It's been proven over and over and over again. It's a very fictitious taught thing. You can scream all day that no, of course your kid notices that the other kid's skin is a different color, but they don't notice it. They just don't. I've asked my daughter, she's 3.5, she comes home from school. I'm like, describe the person you're talking about. And I'm not trying to get her to be racist. I just literally want to know which of your classmates are you referring to, because I don't know their names. And she can't answer it. She has no idea. And if I say, like, I've tried one time, I said, like, oh, the girl from India, because I'm like, that's not racist. That's a country of origin. I'm not talking. And she just, it like went right over her head. So my point is, what I think about Trump and DEI and the fight against it, I think the same thing about the people who fought for it. I think they're misguided in their attempts to assuage, to calm people down. Like, if you want people to know about, to feel diversity and equity and inclusion, you need to make them feel included. But that would include people who hate that term. So I don't have an answer for how to solve it, but I do think it's a total BS misdirected conversation. It's not at all about what either people at the top are talking about. And then meanwhile, I went to a school that was not diverse but was inclusive, and I can explain that at length if I need
what?
to. But the point is, yeah, so it was mostly all the kids were of the same socioeconomic class, which to me is the most important defining trait in the modern world. Like, how much income you and your peers have is what will separate you or unite you more than anything. If you're on a plane, I don't care what your skin color's like. You'd rather sit next to someone who behaves like you, and behavior is very class driven in my opinion.
Really?
So
Isn't
so
is it?
diversity for the, yeah, sorry.
No, no, no. I just remember something, but I can. I just remember that. Isn't that the thing like rich people laugh? For example, Jeff Bezos is a very distinct laugh, and everyone who is rich has the same laugh. That's not me saying, it's the internet. I saw like a meme about it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know that specific one, but I do think it's true that if you asked Hillary Clinton, who would you rather ride on a plane next to, a homeless person from New Jersey or Donald Trump? She would lie to the audience and say the homeless person, but in her brain, she'd be thinking, please, Donald Trump, let me just sit next to someone who doesn't smell and like talks the way I do. And I know he doesn't have a gun. And he, you know, because again, like stereotyping and fear driven logic is kind of what I'm getting at. I feel like I went pretty far from your question, and I want to honor your question and honor your show. So, as far as my opinions of Trump and DEI go, I would side on we should be teaching children very little about adult problems, and we should be teaching children everything we can about how to get along. So, I think you don't teach diversity, and you don't teach equity, and you don't teach inclusion. You are inclusive and you are equitable. And then diversity, that's just a silly word because like you're not going to punish people if they all look the same in the same like small town. You can't like force kids from like 6 towns over to like go to school with them. That doesn't make any sense to me. So you know, that's something that word has been overused in my opinion. And that's the thing about politics and Trump. What Trump is so good at, because I live in this country and I hear his rhetoric every day of my life for what, 12 years now. He's just so good at quick statements that piss everyone off, and that's how you stay relevant in my country. That's how you stay relevant on the internet. You piss people off. You like you engage negatively. They've proven it a million times over. If you attack your opponent in an election, you win, and it's not just in America. It's in Germany. It's in any country. What's your party? The AFD, Alternative for Deutschland. Like, there's a lot of studies on not your party. I didn't mean to say like you belong to that party, but in German politics. I was recently indexing a book all about the AFD party and like how they stay relevant, and it's they use Trump, like they use the same tactics he does.
Really? Whoa.
Yeah,
That's so interesting because I know like they did studies with Facebook, and the thing with Facebook is the posts that cause the most outrage, the posts that make people the blood of people boil the most, those are the most clicked on. And
yeah.
I cannot deny, but